Let's talk about the cloud bill. You know the one. For a lot of companies, it's this source of anxiety that shows up every month. And the number, well, it just seems to go up and up. But what if we're looking at it all wrong? Today, we are going to completely reframe that conversation, shifting our focus away from just cost and toward a real clear understanding of investment and strategic value.
And really, this is the question at the heart of everything. How does your organization, how do you look at your cloud bill? Is it just another line item on an expense report, a necessary evil that you've just got to keep trimming down? Or is it the engine that's actually fueling your business's growth and success? Seriously, the answer to this question changes everything. In this slide, well, it just breaks down those two mindsets perfectly. You see the cost focus on the left? That's the world of firefighting. It's reacting to surprise bills. It's constantly trying to explain why you went over budget again. It's chaos. But the value focus over on the right, that's where we all want to be, right? It's proactive. Spending is a deliberate choice, and it's tied directly to a business goal. It's about moving from total confusion to total clarity. So how do we make that shift? How do we get from the chaos to the clarity? Well, we start by defining the value connection. It's all about building this rock-solid bridge between what you're spending on cloud services and the actual tangible benefits your business is getting back. In the world of FinOps, cloud financial management, there's a specific discipline for this. It's called the Quantify Business Value Domain. And you can just think of it as a playbook, a structured way to connect the dots, linking every single dollar of cloud spend to the actual business value it's creating. The whole point isn't just to track spending, it's to understand its impact. And this is a really crucial point. The goal isn't necessarily to spend less money. I mean, sometimes it is, but not always. The real goal is to make sure that the value you get from that spending is clear, it's understood by everyone, and it either meets or, even better, exceeds what you expected. It's all about getting rid of those nasty surprises and getting the whole business on the same page. And what's so cool about this is how it really widens our definition of value. Because it's not just about the money, right? It's not just profit. Is your cloud usage helping you hit your sustainability targets? Is it making sure your app is always online for customers, which boosts reliability and keeps them happy? These are all absolutely critical forms of business value. Okay, so that's the what and the why. But what about the how, right? How do you actually do this? Let's dive into our value measurement toolkit and look at the 5 core capabilities you need to put this whole idea into practice. And here they are. These are the 5 capabilities that make up your toolkit. Now, it's super important to see these as a connected flow, not just some random checklist. It all starts with solid planning and estimating. That plan then gives you a baseline for forecasting what you're going to need in the future. That forecast, in turn, informs a realistic budget. And once you're up and running, you use benchmarking to see how you stack up against others. And finally, the magic bullet, unit economics. This is where you figure out your cost per something, like your cost per customer or cost per transaction, and that tells you how truly efficient you are. And this quote from the framework, man, it just nails it. These tools, they aren't just for the finance nerds. They exist to answer 2 simple but incredibly powerful questions for everybody. First, is this spending what we expected? And second, is it helping us win? That's it. And look, this isn't just some high-level theory. This entire domain is what actually brings the core principles of FinOps to life. I mean, take that principle that business value should drive technology decisions. Sounds great, right? We've all heard that. But how do you do it? Well, you do it with the metrics and the data that this domain gives you. This is the engine that turns a nice-sounding principle into a real, concrete decision. So let's say you do it. You implement these capabilities, you build that value connection. What's the real payoff for the organization? I mean, what does it actually feel like when you get this right? Well, the benefits are pretty immediate and they are powerful. Just think about it. A world with no more painful surprise budget overruns because your planning is actually accurate. Imagine making big decisions based on objective data that shows the real value of your team's work, instead of just relying on gut feelings. That's the kind of transformation we're talking about. But here's the real game changer. The ultimate result, the grand prize, is this. You empower your teams. You give them the info they need to make smart, value-based decisions quickly, confidently, without having to wait for some report at the end of the month. This is what speeds up the entire business.
And when your teams are empowered like that, suddenly the entire organization is able to answer the most fundamental, the most critical questions about its whole technology strategy.
First up, you can finally answer the most basic question of all. What are we actually trying to accomplish here? This seems so simple, but it forces a massive shift. It forces you to define what success looks like before you spend the first dollar. And right after that, you get to define your yardstick. How are we going to measure this thing? Is it customer satisfaction? Is it revenue per user? You can answer with real precision how you're going to measure that value you just defined. Now here's the big alignment check. With this in place, you can draw a straight line from a single item on your cloud bill all the way up to a key company-wide objective and ask a simple question. Is this helping us or is it hurting us? And finally, you get context. Through benchmarking, you can actually answer whether your spending and your usage patterns are normal, if they're efficient, or if they're totally out of line compared to your peers or even just other teams inside your own company. So we'll end on this. After seeing this entire framework, just take a second and think about your own teams, your own company. What's the single most important conversation about value that needs to happen but isn't happening right now? Whatever just popped into your head, that's your starting point.